You want to introduce yourself?
Sure.
Hmm.
My name is Jake Stone. I'm the founder of Cosmic Psychology. It's something that I've been working on partially unknowingly, unaware of it, and partially knowingly throughout different aspects of my life. I think I started working on it probably around the age of 14 or 15. I'm 36 now, so it's been 20 plus years. Throughout the story, I'm going to be sharing with you different things that I've studied, different mistakes that I've made, different ways that I learned about certain mistakes that I made. And I guess the goal of sharing this is to in particularly help younger people. I don't want to say it's only for younger people, it's for anybody and anyone who thinks they can value from this knowledge and this information. But in particularly myself, when I was a young teenager, around the age of especially 16, 17, and 18, I was looking for a guide. I was looking for a teacher. I was looking for somebody who can help me gain a deeper understanding of myself and make sense of a world that seemed very chaotic. And even more specifically, a world that seemed to be very messed up, and I didn't have a place to turn. My family, I love them, but at the same time, they just didn't have interest in psychology and philosophy, in theology, in things pertaining to a potential God or not God. They were more materialistic, just generally interested in general Western civilization values. I don't say that to diminish them and to devalue them because they provided for me in the way that they could provide me for, but I had to seek guidance elsewhere. And without getting too far ahead of myself, I found myself in the grips of a spiritual organization that, in retrospect, I now see clearly as a cult. I found a man there that was very charismatic, who was very inspiring, who seemed to be an authority in the field that he was an authority on. And slowly but surely, I'll share with you the journey about how that man and the institution itself, when I was in a very vulnerable place of my life and I was very young, took me very astray and cost me a decade of my life. When I say cost me a decade of my life, I want to be very clear. On one level, that experience, the mistakes that I made, the pain that it caused me, actually built the foundation for who I am today. So it's kind of a dual situation. On one level, I was deceived, I was manipulated, I was hurt psychologically very bad. On another level, but the very fact that I was able to climb out of it, I was able to put the pieces back together of the fragmented psyche that I inherited after that. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing today. So it's one of those situations where you don't know if it's a blessing or a curse. You don't know if it's this or that. At the end of the day, I think I'm 36 years old now. Even at this very point of my life, sometimes I wonder how much free will I have and don't have. And I think that a more a person gets in touch with their inner being and they become more conscious, not necessarily more smart. It's not about if you have more facts, if you have more knowledge, but literally conscious of your inner motivations and inner intentions. You start to realize that you were born into a situation already carrying a lot within you that was built before you, from ancestors, from other situations. And you're also thrust into a world and a universe with so many forces going on around you outside your control. And when I look at my 16, 17-year-old self, and I don't want to impose this on everybody who's 16 to 17, but I think it's virtually true for everybody in their own unique way. There's very little free will a person has at that time because there's also a limitation on how much you can understand about yourself and the world at the age of 16. No matter how brilliant, no matter how smart, no matter how educated. So on one level, I look at that situation and the organization's name, which we'll talk about more, is the Kabbalah Center. I look at it as fate and necessity. I really don't think I had any other choice but to go through that. I'm no longer angry or resentful about it. I'm more grateful. But I would like to create cosmic psychology in this video and all these things that I'm doing. I would like to create it so that it can help other younger individuals who are seeking genuinely seek. I do believe within the field that I'm creating, there will be mistakes. A lot of the field is built on, it's not trying to replace thinkers before me, but it's trying to extend them. So we'll be building off of Carl Jung, we'll be building off of Eric Fromm, we'll be building off of Sigmund Freud, we'll be building off of Alfred Adler. I could list a bunch of names, but it's really not necessary to give them all. But when I look back and I study the works of these monumental minds, all of them, some of them in the 1700s, 1900s, some texts are going back 2,000 years. Every thinker could only think within their general frame of reference. And I think the gift of cosmic psychology and the gift that I hope to be able to give the world is that I'm not trying to give only my framework. I really do try my best and try my hardest to borrow the eyes of each of those thinkers, see the world through their eyes. And cosmic psychology is created by the borrowing of many eyes. Instead of trying to disagree with them, it's trying to show the frame that they saw, but also show the frame that they may have missed in an effort to create a more cohesive whole. for a view of psychology going forward in the future. So this is my introduction. Yeah.